What I worked on Monday was starting to put together a document of a list of all of the different characters and having space in that list to put the designs so I could keep track of which ones did have a design for or an image for and a starting point and which ones didn't. So that was easier for me and also for the rest of the team just to have like a proper visual of where we were at to really assist me in keeping track of everything that we've been doing. So some of the designs that I've been looking at are the Tin Man, the Winky Guards, some of the Munchkins, I think, but I didn't get very far with them. I also looked at the Flying Monkeys a bit and the Emerald City Guards, as well as the colour scheme. And the colour scheme is quite important to get done first, I think, because that can really help us then thinking about the different sections that they'll be put into. Like, for example, with the witch, we decided to go with purple, grey, and black as her kind of colours. So then that meant subsequently when we were thinking about the monkeys or the jitterbugs or the winky guards, we could put that same kind of colour scheme with them so they start to tie in together and you can sort of like a visual cue of, oh, they're evil, they're with the witch, because we recognise those colours. And then for Dorothy and her, like the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and all of them having some kind of Dorothy blue or her checkers involved in the costume for some way. So for like Toto having maybe a little neckerchief, or the lion having maybe a bow on his tail or something. I think the hardest one would be finding a way to add the blue to the Tin Man, because he doesn't have any clothes and he's quite difficult to just put like an extra accessory onto. So that's something that I'm really gonna have to think about a good way of implementing that. But it would have the same effect as with the witch of just having that, like, well, that extra little cue of they're a group and they're a separate group. And one thing that I did start doing the Scarecrow, but I found that I didn't manage to get very far with it because I just couldn't make the design feel right. It wasn't working and I was spending quite a lot of time with it. So I decided to let somebody else have a go so I can move on to something else, and maybe with their fresh ideas they could come up with something better and that will fit with what we're going for the show a bit better. And then what I worked on today, which was Wednesday morning, I looked at drawing the garment in a more technical way, as so far all of the designs have been more about shape and colour and just the general kind of theme of the costume, the basic ideas. So then it was like thinking about the actual construction of it and the proper details, like here's one panel and here's another. And I did find it quite difficult with someone to really visualize the shape of how it was going to be. And of course when you're drawing that, you just in that way you just need to make sure that you're getting it right and getting all of the details in there, because you're also drawing on like where the stitching is going to be. So I just had to think about where I would place that. So one of the ones I was doing, I did Dorothy's dress, so I was really thinking about how the back of it would look actually, because I hadn't really thought about that. So once I'd finished the front, I decided to do one of the back just to really understand the layout of that garment. And I looked at the Tin Man and I was really thinking about if I should add extra panels to his body, because I'm not sure if a lot of stitching would make it just look sewn, or if the extra stitching would just give it more texture. So I'm going to think about that for a little while now and decide kind of which direction more I'm going to go in.